Which brings us to Mark, and Mark's axes me. I actually he axes you. I was just on your quote, a moment of Cerebus, unquote, website. Thank you for putting so much work into it. It really shows. And since you've developed all of these technological chops for doing a much better please hold for Dave Sim, let's really push the boundaries of your learning curve. And when I read that part where it says, thank you for putting so much work into it, it really shows. Can we plug in a standing ovation?
I can try.
A standing ovation, and I was thinking fireworks over top of it as well, because it's like you're still not going to get paid for doing a moment of Cerebus, but the very least you can get is a public domain standing ovation and a public domain fireworks for yourself.
I'm trying to remember. I swear there's a panel in Guys where where Cerebus and the guys are all like, yay!
Yeah, that's actually in flight, I think. Or you could use the one from High Society where everybody's cheering Cerebus's campaign speech. That would work as well.
That is flight. That's welcome to the 7th or 8th sphere, the first false one or second false one.
Right.
Can't tell you what I had for breakfast 2 days ago, but I can tell you that.
There you go. Okay, Mark continues, I tried linking to the selfie store so as to acquire a PDF of Dave's out-of-print work, Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing. Unfortunately, the page appears to no longer exist. That's one of those internet things. I remember way back when I actually used the internet, and it would say, this page no longer exists. And I would think, how do you do that? I don't want to know how you do that. I'm wondering if you might suggest another way to acquire a copy of the guide. I've searched high and low online to no avail. Your help is greatly appreciated. Thanks in advance, Mark. And then you say, which ties into something Eddie sent me after last month. Hey, Matt, Rolly usually sends me a complete list of the AV inventory every few months. Last time he checked, there was 1,140 collected letters, 2004, 13 ultimate guide to self-publishing, which has the Cerebus smashing through the wall shot as the wraparound cover, and 12 Cerebus guide to self-publishing, which has Cerebus at the drawing board trying to picture what time it is before he looks at the clock, as well as the trades Aardvark Vanaheim has on hand. These are the older unmastered ones. Recent printings like Swords of Cerebus in Hell with a question mark, and some older signed copies of the trades. Here's some of the rarer items, and go through the list on that. I don't know if that's been updated since David Birdsong ran the Kickstarter for Pieces of Turtles 8 #1, because he listed a bunch of those, and I think the signed and numbered ones went pretty quickly. So the rule of thumb at Aardvark Vanaheim is if there's only 3 of them, then those are Cerebus archive copies. I don't like to get below 3. If there's more than 3, if you really, really want them and you haven't been able to find them, then I'm always open for offers. I'm always put in mind of Mick Jagger on at the concert they did at the El Macombo Club in Toronto. That was on, I think it was Love You Live, where he's introducing the members of the band, and I think he said about Charlie Watts, He's open for office. I wouldn't say he's exactly up for grabs, but he's open for office. And that's really what the situation is with anything in the Cerebus archive or the Aardvark van Anaheim inventory that's over the number of 3. I wouldn't say it's exactly up for grabs, but it's open for office. And that would be the case here with you, Mark, in terms of if you've looked high and low and you can't find it and you really, really want it, just be completely honest with yourself and go, what would I be happy paying for this? Not Happy Dave's bargain basement price, but if I've been looking high and low for this online, if I found it someplace and I went, oh, that's a good price, that's about what I would be happy paying for this, just to get this done so that I can actually have a copy of it, then in that case, just pay that amount at cerebusdownloads.com and let Eddie Conant know that that's what you're paying for, and give Eddie your mailing address, and Eddie will let us know, okay, this person wants this person wants this other thing over here, and this is what they're paying for. Obviously, we can do much better for selling somebody a PDF of the Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing. I mean, I can do that next Thursday with Rolly. Here, I downloaded this off of my laptop onto a thumb drive. You download it onto your smartphone, and you email it to the guy tonight when you get home, and it's a done deal. But I don't want to quote a price, because that's another thing that I'm trying to train people into, is think like what Mick Jagger was saying. It's not up for grabs, but it's open for offers. And just make an offer that will make you happy, and if it makes you happy, it makes me happy, and then we can make you happy with whatever it is that you're looking for. If you were looking for a PDF because you couldn't find anything else, and now you find out, okay, now there are Ultimate Guide to Self-Publishing copies, not a lot of them, Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing copies, not a lot of them. How much more would you pay for one of those than a PDF? If you're just looking for the content, then it's like, well, I'm not going to pay more for a relatively rare book than I would pay for a PDF, because I just want to read the damn thing. I'll get it in the form of an email and print it out on my printer, and I've got the Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing as far as I'm concerned, as opposed to I'm a Cerebus collector and I want an original printing of the Cerebus Guide to Self-Publishing. So that's one of those. We don't get a lot of response that way, because people would always rather that you say, this is what I'm charging, and then the situation you get into is, wow, I would have paid 5 times that. And it's like, well, then stop asking me to quote prices, because you're always getting a much better price than I could have possibly have gotten if you were just being honest with yourself and saying, well, I didn't know that they had these. I would pay this much for one of those. That way, Aardvark van Anaheim makes more money than Aardvark van Anaheim would the other way. And that's what we're trying to figure out how to do, to make Aardvark van Anaheim more money.
Okay, 3 things I thought of while you were talking. 1, whatever they're willing to pay for physical media, whatever price they want to throw at you, maybe add $20 for shipping.
Yes, $20 is a given in this day and age. I can't believe that I've lived long enough to reach the point where $20 for postage is a given. Sending anything larger than an envelope or a postcard. Console yourself, Mark, if you're in the United States somewhere, that that's $20 Canadian, which would probably be about $16 US, depending on the exchange rate. So that's one of the things you thought of. The next was...
I think, now that you mentioned PDFs of the guide, I think Cerebus Downloads is offering PDFs of the Guide to Self-Publishing, the Ultimate Guide. I think it's on the regular page where the other 16 volumes are listed. I will double check and I will email Mark back of, if you want it digitally, there's a button for that. I believe.
There's a button for that. How often do we get to say that in this day and age?
And the third thing I thought of is, how many Fight Like an Aardvark bumper stickers does the archive have?
That's a good question. I do have a few of them.
Okay, the reason I ask is because Nate Oberstein sent me 5 of them that he didn't know what to do with, and I've kind of been sitting on them in the Amok prize drawer of, okay, if we decide to have a stupid contest, here's a stupid contest prize. That's actually kind of nice. But if you needed some, I would send them up. But if you don't need them, then I'll hang on to them.
I've definitely got more than 3, so I'm okay for those. Are they all curled up like mine?
No, they're flat.
Are they? Mine are all curled up. It's the adhesive just couldn't stand sitting out in the open air. I should have put them under something heavy decades ago.
Nate made it sound like he was at a convention or something, and somebody had like 100 of them, and he bought
Really?
He bought a bunch of them, and and traded them, sold them, whatever, and I guess he was going through stuff, and he had these 5, and he's like, hey, Matt, you want these to use as a prize on Moment of Service? I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll find a use for them, and he sent them, and I opened the package, and went, these are really neat, and then I put them in the bottom of the prize drawer, which is actually a physical drawer now. I cleaned off a drawer in my desk, and put, okay, here's things when, I need to give somebody something neat in a package, here's some postcards from the Waverly, here's these 5 stickers, at one point when I was cleaning off the desk, a lot of stuff went, oh, this is prize drawer stuff, and every now and then I think I should open that up and double check. Maybe I need that fax.
Right. Okay, I think that's got that covered.
Yeah, that's pretty covered.
Okay, all right. Yes, you are at complete liberty to make somebody happy with Fight Like an Aardvark bumper sticker.
Oh well, I gotta
Okay.
I gotta find her use yet.
What's that?
I gotta find a contest or something where I have to get rid of them. Right now, like I said, they're just sitting in the drawer, and I'm okay with that because I am a Cerebus hoarder.
Right.